times two fathers go at it on paternity court.
So I called DeMarcus to let him know, hey, I could be pregnant by Ladarius and you. And DeMarcus was like, well, I want to be with you. And that's where it went.
I found out that she was messing around on me. So she told me she was 99% sure that he was the father. And it's a possibility that I could be.
Mr. Patterson is fighting paternity against another man who also believes that the baby is his.
Patterson, you opened your case today to prove that you are 4-year-old DeMarcus Patterson Jr.'s biological father. You named him and have cared for your junior since birth. Ms. Knight, you testified that it does not change the fact that you are unsure he is DeMarcus Jr.'s biological father and another man could be. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
While Ms. Knight told the court that she already had told both men about the doubt part.
I let DeMarcus know when I got pregnant that there was a possibility that I could be pregnant by someone else.
So you were honest?
From the beginning, yes.
Do you remember this conversation, Mr. Patterson?
Yes. When she first told me she was pregnant, that's when we was like the house hopping thing, because when she moved out of her parents' house, she ain't had nowhere to go, so let her live there too.
DeMarcus ended up cheating on me, so I called DeMarcus to let him know, hey, I could be pregnant by Ladarius and you. And DeMarcus was like, well, I want to be with you. And that's where it went.
The judge concluded the story like this.
When you left, you ended up with Mr. Siegler,
Right.
which is the other possible father.
Right. We ended up having protected sex that night, and then we ran out of condoms, and while we were doing it, I told him to go ahead and get me pregnant. That's what I told him. And as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I called DeMarcus and let DeMarcus know, him knowing that I could be pregnant by somebody else. He was okay with the situation.
Baby mama told the court how Patterson was right there at the birth.
DeMarcus was there. He was there when my water broke. Time to go to the hospital. All right, let's do this. So we was in the hospital that whole day. Had the baby. When he had the baby, DeMarcus looked over, said, that's my baby. We named him DeMarcus Patterson.
Did you say that?
That ain't exactly how it happened. I looked at her, and that's when the doctors left the room. She was like, what name should we give him? I was like, oh no. She said I always wanted a junior, and I was like, you'll do that? Then that's when the name came about, DeMarcus Latarius Patterson Jr.
She even said that Mr. Patterson was persistently around his junior.
So you signed the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Without a doubt at that time, you went on and signed it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
and I
right.
looked at him, and then that's when I threw the DNA test out the picture.
At that moment, DeMarcus said, that is my baby. His name is going to be DeMarcus Latarius Patterson Jr. And I don't care what y'all got to say.
Okay, and you know that he might not be the biological father. Why give in to the name and name this child after him, knowing that there's a possibility?
I was in love with him. We were together all the time. I mean, he demanded it, that's what he wanted. He denied the DNA test. So I'm like, you know what? Sure.
We're gonna roll with this.
Let's go with it.
So now it was time to call in the other baby daddy.
Before we go any further, I think it's time I hear from Mr. Sick. Thank you for joining us today. Do you believe you are DeMarcus Jr.'s biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why do you believe that?
And when I told her she was pregnant, she said, well, if you feel like that, take me to the clinic. So I did. So when we got back, we had conflict. She like, it could possibly be his. It could possibly be yours. So therefore now, like she say, all in water.
He even told the court how he really wished that baby would be his.
And so, Mr. Patterson, I have to ask you, how do you feel knowing that your son calling another man daddy too?
Be honest, I used to think about it hard back in the days, but it's her mess. She gotta clean it up. That's what we're here for today, you know?
It's all of your mess.
Yeah.
Now let's find out who is DJ's real father.
It's been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Siegler.
Miss Bryson has dragged her ex-boyfriend because she is her baby daddy.
Mr. McCarroll is the father of your 18-month-old son, Zylan McCarroll.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McCarroll, you say that because of Miss Bryson's admission, you have no choice but to believe that another man is Zylan's biological father. And after today's DNA results are revealed, you demand that Zylan's name be changed.
This was the nature of their relationship.
What is the nature of your relationship? You're separated?
Yes, ma'am. We're currently separate. We're not working on getting anything back in track because Harold, he has whorish ways.
Wow.
And he wants me to be a whore like he is, and I'm not that type of.
I have no idea where Miss Bryson gets that from.
I wanted us to get married, okay? And he doesn't want to do that.
Where we would never have to be here in this situation, where she would never have to worry about who her baby daddy was or none of that crazy stuff.
But the baby mama told the court that she was not the cheating one in the bond.
He goes, he meets someone, and he always sleeps with everywhere he goes.
It's not true, Your Honor.
What is true, Mr. McCarroll?
I could see all this coming, and I tried to avoid her from getting to this
How did you
point.
see all of it coming, and what is it?
I could, this situation where we got another beautiful young black woman that don't know who her kids.
while Mr. McCarroll claimed he was the victim in the dynamic.
I can't talk to my mother on the phone. I can't read a book without getting put out, cursed out. She upstairs with the baby. I'm downstairs because I'm trying to read. The baby crying and whatnot. Come downstairs huffing and puffing. I've been downstairs too long. I'm too quiet.
The reason I came downstairs, I heard him on the phone with a girl that he had currently slept with. And
How do you know that was a girl
anytime I
currently slept with?
I talked to her. He was telling her she upstairs sleep with the baby. When I get a chance to get out, I'm gonna come over and we gone.
Further, the pregnancy question came up.
What was going on in the relationship when you got pregnant with Zylan?
When I had gotten pregnant, we were separated. Every time he comes over, he don't know how to keep his hands to himself. Even if I'm in a relationship, he still does it. As soon as my friend turns his back, he touching on me. And I tell him, don't do that. But while I'm separated, I do love him with all my heart. I want all my kids to be his.
Well, wait, there was another man in the picture.
With another man
Yes, I was.
in a relationship,
No,
and then Mr. McCarroll came over and touched you, and then
Yeah.
you
Is that
got
easy?
pregnant.
That's
Right?
I rated
Thank you.
No,
Takes two.
no. He came over and was flirting on me, touching on me. Ever cheated on him when we were together?
You just cheat on other people with him.
Yes.
You're saying he's the cheater.
Yes.
Next came the guilt confession in mid-trial.
He didn't want to settle down. No man gonna be included in it because I haven't tried to even get into a relationship because I know I'm still hung over him. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
You say you wanted to have a family. I understand that desire. A baby's not a consolation prize. It's not, because I didn't get this man, I'll just have this baby and I'll just be all right. That's not how children should be brought into this world.
Yeah, preach, Judge. But Mr. McCarroll was dumb enough to interrupt the judge.
What I want to understand is you want to try to downgrade her in this courtroom, but she been with you and her life has not improved. You had a system of avoiding.
But now it was time to let the second guy speak his side.
I found out that she was messing around on me. So she told me she was 99% sure that he was the father. And it's a possibility that I could be.
Did you know she was still sleeping with Mr. McCarroll when she was with you?
No, when she got pregnant, she told me.
If you knew there were potentially two fathers, why is it you named the baby Zylan McCarroll?
I didn't want my baby to feel like left out.
So now it was time for the result.
The case of Bryson versus McCarroll. When it comes to 18-month-old Zylan McCarroll, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Perkins, you are not the father.
Miss Nadu is here because she backstabbed her man by sleeping with his best friend right around his grandfather's funeral.
Ms. Nato, you confess you are caught in the middle of two lifelong best friends because you slept with them both and now have no idea which is 2-year-old Cameron's biological father.
While Mr. Santilli didn't know what he would do if the baby boy wasn't his.
Now, what will you do if today's test results reveal Cameron is your biological child?
I'm gonna break down. It's been over a year and a half. I had to convince my 4-year-old how he doesn't have a younger brother no more. I had to convince myself that he wasn't my son.
And this is how everything got down.
His grandfather was sick and passing away. We needed to break up, that I needed to focus on me. He was just gonna bring me down. He left anyways. The day that he passed away, I was holding his hand. Tom was standing, Mrs. R was standing behind me. We both just took it hard. It's not easy to watch anybody pass away, never mind somebody you were so close to. So we went out afterwards and we had some drinks.
The sad part is that Mr. Santilli couldn't anticipate such betrayal at all.
Ms. Nato was intimate with your best friend.
I had no idea at the time.
I was stuck by his side the whole time.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
Oh, you came to the funeral with his best friend?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
After you had slept with him?
Yep.
So that is during this time.
The first time me and Mrs. R slept together was the day he passed away.
You don't really know who the father is.
No.
However, the judge had this take on the whole situation.
We are two consenting adults who are both single at the
Well,
time.
you're definitely two
But when
consenting adults.
when I
But I'm
denied-
saying, is there any part of you that said, he just lost a person that meant everything to him.
No,
I'm his
because
ex. Maybe sleeping with his best friend wouldn't be the best idea?
Absolutely not.
Next, the best friend was escorted into the courtroom.
Do you end up sleeping with your best friend's girl?
He told me specifically in his house, yo, I don't care about this girl. I have another girlfriend. He just sit there and lied.
Yes, they did. I was saying right yes. You said they're adults. Let them sleep together if they want to sleep together.
You're my brother, kid. You should have known better regardless. Regardless.
Either way.
16 years I've known you.
Mr. Santilli confessed to the court that at first he denied the baby.
When you found out Ms. Nato was pregnant,
At first, I did not believe the child was mine. No, I denied it to the fullest, yes.
did you know she
No, I
had
did not
already
know. I
slept
did not
with
know
Mr.
that they were sleeping
Zara?
together.
Hold
They
on.
both
He
denied
asked
it.
me at his house. He said, yo, bro, Kayla just told me that you had sex with her. And I denied it. And Kayla came out right on the porch and said, yeah, we did. He's lying to you. And the only reason why I denied it to him was because his grandfather was sick.
Well, since he got the concession, it's time for the result.
In the case of Nato versus Santilli Zara, when it comes to 2-year-old Cameron Santilli and whether his biological father is Mr. Santilli or Mr. Zara, Cameron's biological father is Mr. Santilli.
A messy love triangle has caused a paternity rift in Miss Marsak's life, and Judge Lake is her only hope.
Ms. Marsak, you admit to sleeping with 2 men at the time you conceived your 11-month-old son, Caden. You're here today for the need to identify his biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. O'Malley, you claim she was unfaithful during your time together, so you have every reason to doubt paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Mestepe, claim you have created a loving bond with Caden, and you would be devastated if he's not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
The judge asked the plaintiff how she got into such a situation, and her reply was this.
2009, we were working together and we had a fling there for a while. He was with somebody while I was married, and we were both intimate with each other at that time.
So at some point, you were sleeping with Mr. Mestepe as well?
Right after me and Mr. O'Malley were together, and we were drinking and we were ended up intimate.
While O'Malley testified this to the court.
We had met in 2009. We had an affair for a couple months. She ended up coming to Chicago to come stay with me. It didn't work out, so I had sent her back to where she's from. 3 weeks later, she Facebooks me telling me that she's pregnant. So I asked for proof because she had lied to me numerous times before, and her word isn't really trustworthy, at least for me.
After this, the judge moved to the other daddy in question.
Mr. Mestepe, when did you find out she was pregnant?
I was living in California at the time. One day I get this message on Facebook saying that I'm pregnant and you could possibly be the father.
And what were you thinking?
I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know what to think.
Real possibility that you could be this child's father.
Yes.
Surprisingly, the one-night stand guy stood up as the father.
Since Caden's birth, who's been a father to him? Who's been there for you and for Caden?
Mr. Mestepe.
So, Mr. Mestepe, you were admittedly a one-night stand, and yet you stepped up and you've been a father to this beautiful baby?
Yes.
And Mr. O'Malley had this reason up his sleeve.
Your Honor, I haven't been as much as I should have, but I didn't know. I understand Mestepe has been more of a father to Caden than I have, and I accept that. I was working out of state, so I didn't want to come back to Illinois to raise a child that I didn't know that was mine or not.
Moreover, it turned out that Mr. O'Malley was Mama's favorite father pick for paternity.
You believe in your heart and your gut that Mr. O'Malley is the child's father. Are there any other reasons? Is it just looks?
My son does look just like his other baby. Mind you, my son is a week older than his other baby.
She allowed Mr. Mestepe to believe that he was the father.
So, Mr. Mestepe, did you believe you were the father or just thought you were a possibility?
I just thought I was a possibility.
With all that said, let's move to the conclusion.
In the case of Marsak v. O'Malley Mestepe, pertaining to whether Mr. O'Malley or Mr. Mestepe is the father of 11-month-old Caden Marsak, it has been determined by this court that the biological father is Mr. O'Malley.
Big relief, Your Honor.
The paternity rift the two cousins started with Miss Gray sleeping around with her baby daddy, Mr. Pearson, and his cousin.
Ms. Gray, you say the defendant, Mr. Pearson, has ripped your family apart because of his denial that he is your 10-month-old daughter, Kamaya's dad. You say he never denied your 2 oldest kids, but refuses to believe he is the biological dad of baby Kamaya.
Miss Gray shed light on how she got caught up in a cousin triangle.
Did you sleep with his cousin?
Yes, I did. It was revengeful because he left me when I was pregnant with his cousin's ex-girlfriend. Not only that, they have a kid together. So yes, I slept with his cousin several times.
Mr. Pearson, however, had something else to say about the wild fling.
He was at my house while I was leaving to go to work, and I just left it be. I didn't question it. You know, I thought I could have more trust in my cousin, and we moved in with them.
You moved in with your cousin?
Yeah, I wonder what he was coming to my house for. I'm leaving to go to work, so who was he there for? And then I moved out of there and I moved to a friend of mine's house. That's when they allegedly started messing with each other. But I look at it as if you did it once, you did it then, you've done it before, you've done it, you'll do it again.
The plaintiff continued to make fun of the defendant.
He accused me of sleeping with everybody, Your Honor.
Yes, Your
Even when
Honor,
I'm
I
not
did,
sleeping
because
with
she
nobody,
couldn't tell
he
me the
continues.
Ms. Gray, did you ever tell the cousin you were pregnant too?
I was already pregnant when I slept with his cousin, so there's no way that that's his cousin's baby, but he's too dumb to realize.
Further drama was revealed when Mr. Alexander revealed why he slept with Miss Gray in the first place.
Mr. Pearson, you're alone with Miss Gray, and you know this is the mother of your cousin's children. Was this for you just sex as well, or did you have some affinity for this woman?
I had such a strong bond with my ex. When he went up there and had a baby by my ex, it just kind of broke me down. As in, I just broke up with her, and you're gonna go up there and sleep with her, move in with her, and have a baby by her?
Judge Lake schooled Mr. Pearson. Good.
You all just 21 and 22 years old?
I mean, I can take care of my kids.
No, listen.
I go to work every day.
You're gonna take care of the
job.
kids. The issue is you need to stop making them.
The Bible says be fruitful.
Hold on, don't start on the Bible with me. Are you married? So the Bible also says get married.
Let's see to which Pearson the baby belongs.
In the case of Gray versus Pearson, pertaining to whether Mr. Alexander Pearson or Mr. Theodore Pearson is the father of 10-month-old Kamaya Pearson, it has been determined by this court the biological father is Mr. Theodore Pearson.
Can I see my daughter, Your Honor?